Welcome back, and today we're going to talk about my top 5 budget flashlights under $40 that use both a standard AA but also can use the 14500 lithium ion battery. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first flashlight we have to talk about is the Sofrin. Now this is the SP10V3. It has a ridiculous output of 1000 lumens with a high CRI Samsung LED. This thing has a fantastic user interface, and frankly I'm blown away with just how useful this flashlight is. There is one major downside to this light, which is kind of funny, but it ends up being the pocket clip. The pocket clip is a bit of a pain because it has a little protruding piece of metal that doesn't quite fit in your pocket unless you move it around a little bit. So that is my only negative of this light, other than the fact that I prefer a tail switch capable flashlight. I will also say that the user interface is probably my favorite one of any of these flashlights that we're going to be talking about today. Now the next flashlight on our list is the Lumentop EDCA AA. Now this has the distinction of having the smallest diameter of any of the 14500/AA powered flashlights that we're covering today. It also has the biggest spread. In other words, it has a very floody beam, and you can see with that kind of honeycomb pattern lens, it's going to distribute a lot of light in a very close proximity. So if you work up close and personal, this is your light. The only problem is, once again, this is a very thin pocket clip, and it's very easy to accidentally bend it into weird shapes. So if you catch this on something, it's going to bend. So that is the only downside that I have had with this. Other than that, it has great mode sets and just great functionality. Now the Lumentop Tool AA very well might be one of the most popular AA powered flashlights out there, but I'm not the biggest fan. I appreciate the incredible amount of power it has, the user interface, the options in the LEDs, and so on. But the pocket clip does annoy me a little bit. Good news, it does swap out with the one from the EDCA AA if you choose to use that one instead. So that's quite cool. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you are using a 14500, the tail switch, which is lit up, will drain the battery slightly over time. So just something to keep in mind with this light. The other thing I'm not super thrilled about is that with the 14500, it doesn't really have a low mode. It comes out to be about 30 lumens, which really isn't low enough when you need it to be. Other than that, it's a phenomenal light. If we're being completely honest, had I not revisited this flashlight and looked a little bit closer at its statistics and its capabilities, it would definitely not be on this list. But when they upgraded it from the i5T to the i5R, it made a massive difference in runtime. And of all the lights on this list, the big advantage here is that regardless of what fuel you're using, you're going to get probably your longest runtimes using the i5R. Whether it's in the 15 lumen mode, which has almost 40 hours of runtime, or in the 350 lumen mode, which comes down to 150 and then lasts for like 3 hours plus. It's pretty impressive just how long this lasts. And that is the biggest reason to choose it. It's a simple user interface. It's IPX8, great pocket clip, comes in a billion colors. So yeah, I do like the i5R. Just remember, the i5R, not the i5T. Also, do not buy this on Amazon. I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to get this when it's on sale on Olight's website. And they do that once a month, and that's the only way you should purchase them, because you will get them for so much cheaper than any other way possible. Now I have definitely left the best for last. This is one I kind of bought on a whim, and I thought it was mostly going to be kind of a novelty because of how many different types of fuel it could use. Little did I know, until I actually looked into the paperwork a little bit closer, this light is by far the brightest AA powered flashlight I have ever seen. Now it says 350 lumens. on the box. But if you look closely, it has over 6,000 candela, which I don't even know how to describe it. When I turn this thing on, I'm like, there is no way that is only 350 lumens. It just shocked me how bright it was. And it's exactly the same whether I'm using the CR123 or a 14500, which, by the way, doesn't say that it's rated for, but it works perfectly in this light. So I'm able to use a USB, micro USB rechargeable 14500 in this, and it runs just as if it had the CR123. Absolutely awesome. Oh, and I also accidentally washed this in the washing machine. Went through the entire cycle. I was sure I killed it, pulled it out, worked fine. Tough as nails. If you're looking for an ultra bright option that can use pretty much any battery out there, this is your flashlight, no question. Absolutely no question. Now, it is a little bit big, I will admit, and it's not for everybody, but it has probably the best pocket clip on this list, a decent user interface. Were it not for the fact that it was missing an ultra low mode, this thing would be the best by a mile. And it does really need one, because its 40 lumen mode still has 720 candela, which is very, very bright. So if Streamlight is ever going to find this video, please, please, please add an ultra low mode, and I'm going to be a happy camper. I'll probably just use this and use this only, because it's so bright. I don't even think I need the larger sized flashlights. I really, really do. It's super comparable to the light I just showed, which had 1700 lumens. Now, the Acebeam Rider RX is a really cool light. Now, I wasn't going to include it on the list because it turns out it was a little bit more expensive, but on Amazon it is currently below the $40 price point. It uses Nietzsche LEDs, has fidget factor, so I will be reviewing it and we'll be talking about it at some later time, but I just want to make people aware. The versatility of AA's cannot be understated. Whether it's high capacity or high power, you have basically the widest range of options. The biggest surprise for me, though, for sure, were the Streamlight and the Sofra. Now, you'll notice here I've already swapped out the terrible pocket clip that comes with it with a Baton 3 pocket clip. You can buy these separately, and I will put a link down below to Battery Junction and if I find any other location. And that will dramatically improve the quality of carrying this flashlight. When you have the ability to get output that is present in the Protac, but also in the Sofra with a high CRI, and the longevity that Olight provides, I mean, sometimes I wonder why I go with something bigger. It almost doesn't make any sense anymore. And I like that. I like that this size can be both compact, like it is here, and it can also be incredibly powerful as well. So this is a very, very good size flashlight. I will also do this, if you like, for the AAA size. But AAAs are a little bit different because they span the gap between keychain flashlights and pocketable flashlights. So let me know. If that's of interest to you, I will do one as well. How did I do? Did I miss any? If you think there's a flashlight that you would have put on this list under $40, leave it in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk again soon.